This, which obviously is an AI video, came out of Iran leadership in response to Donald Trump's war with them and the quagmire that he's got himself into that he has no idea how to get himself out of. Apparently that was put out by Iranian leadership. That AI video, a Lego movie style AI video that was trolling Donald Trump and this entire operation that he's got going on in Iran. There's so many hidden little messages and trolling accusations that go throughout many of these. I feel like a few of you guys, as I was watching through that and saw a little bit of the chat responses, a few of you guys may have seen this particular one, which was right off the bat. There, Donald Trump sitting in bed, tweeting about, or looking over about the issues going on with his here war, and there's like three little doll-like girls strewn across the room. I feel like that's like an indication of what it is that they say he's trying to hide from, which I think every American knows what he's trying to hide from when it comes to little girls and his past. So the whole thing here is pointing out that Donald Trump, this is their belief system, this is what they put out in this AI video. Donald Trump is pushing the Hollywood version, the PR version of what they say is happening in this war versus what apparently is happening right under the noses and faces of Americans. A lot of people are laughing at it, and I saw the humor in it too. This is what sucks. When you see that stuff, and you understand that our administration, our government, all of our oligarchs and our fascist dictator president all seem to be fitting within all these themes that Iran is now trolling him about, as we don't know many of the details of what are going on behind the scenes in this war because we're being, shrouded from reality. We've been that way since this guy stepped into office, but many people have been choosing to do so. This one is actually the video that came out most recently. Like I said, Iran has put out multiple Lego-based videos that make it look really funny, but at the same time, there's all kinds of hidden and direct jabs that are being tossed this guy's way.
Yeah. You crossed the ocean just to find your granted. Sacrifice your own boys for a lie. Listen. Yeah. Yeah. Make America great again. Yo, Tails, this shit crazy. Yeah, make America great again now. You will see what happens, yeah. Watch this. Sacred defense, we protecting the soil. While you sacrifice soldiers to pay for your spoil. You punch who ran the blow, sitting on your throne. Now we turning every base into a bed of stone. It's a slaughterhouse, a trap you couldn't see. Welcome to the graveyard of your vanity. The secrets are leaking, the pressure is rising. We locked on the target, and now you are hiding. LOSCR. Yeah, we spelling at your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a fucker while you shaking in your sweet. LOSCR. Taste the ash of defeat. LOSCR. Yeah, we spelling at your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a fucker while you shaking in your sweet. LOSCR. Taste the ash of defeat. In your suit, hiding Epstein's ghost. You sent your boys to die on the bloody coast. Not a revenge for the leader's blood is purely mine. Every drop of his blood is a missile on the line. You thought you took him out, thought the fire was dead, but another commonality is standing ahead. Yeah, you strike one down, we just shatter your brain. We put another in the leg. Commonate again. The secrets are leaking, the pressure is rising. We locked on the target, and now you are hiding. LOSCR. Yeah, we spelling out your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a puppet while you shaking in your sweet. LOSCR. Taste the ash. LOSCR. Yeah, we spelling out your name. Send them to the slaughter, you the only one to blame. Bleeding for a puppet while you shaking in your sweet. LOSCR. Taste the ash of defeat. Sacred defense of the homeland. Sacred defense of the homeland. Sacred defense of the homeland. The slaughterhouse is open. Commonade cash. LOSCR.
Someone else pointed out in the chat, which I didn't realize this. Potentially, Lego keeps getting used for this because I guess it's a Denmark thing, and as we know, he was threatening Greenland, which, you know, is territory under Denmark. So it's not a coincidence that was also the case. There's lots and lots of things here. I mean, you got like a rap song, you got a beat going with it. It's something that's going to be sticking on people's heads. And you know what? Honestly, this is the other part of it. Donald Trump is obsessed with the presentation of his presidency. He's obsessed with the PR version of it. He's obsessed with looking as good as possible, despite how disastrous everything he's done has been. Everything he cares about is about how it comes off, how he looks. Definitely not about what the results would be. Definitely not about helping the American people or using our taxpayer dollars for anything that's beneficial to us. Everything that he's been about, this 34-time felon, everything that he's about is taking from us and then enriching himself and the people that emboldened him and that put him in this position. So stuff like this would really annoy him. I mean, that is if he catches wind of it, because as we keep seeing, what doesn't happen is Donald Trump doesn't get the reality of what is that's happening, even if they told him he might, you know, rip his hair out and get mad about it. Because this is reported from NBC News regarding this here war. Each day since the start of this war, U.S. military officials compile, listen to this, they compile a video update for Trump that shows video of the biggest, most successful strikes on Iranian targets over the previous 48 hours. That's what 3 current U.S. officials and a former U.S. official told NBC News. So he's getting a video compilation of the progress of the war that he's too stupid to realize what's going on in it, that he admitted himself when he said, who knew that they'd attack their Middle East neighbors? Who knew that they would close the Strait of Hormuz? Here's more. The daily montage typically runs for about 2 minutes. Sometimes longer, the officials said. One described each daily video as a series of clips of stuff, quote, blowing up. This 79-year-old president, I think he's 79, who cares? He's this old-ass president, needs a 2-minute rundown, breakdown, highlight clip of things blowing up in his war that he started so he can sit back, clap his hands, and be giddy about it, while his officials that apparently are supposed to be the adults in the room are compiling this every day just to make him happy so he can step in front of cameras confidently and lie the way he does every day. Here's the last quote from NBC News on this. This is outrageous. But the video briefing is fueling concerns among some of Trump's allies that he may not be receiving or absorbing the complete picture of the war. Now it's in its fourth week. They said the videos are also driving Trump's increasing frustration with news coverage of the war. Trump has pointed to the success depicted in these daily highlight videos to privately question why his administration can't better influence the public narrative. And he's asking these aides, why doesn't the news media emphasize what he's seeing? The baby in chief is sitting in his Oval Office, surrounded by gold-plated, tacky furniture, and they're presenting him with video, 2-minute videos, because if he went for 2 minutes and 15 seconds, he'd lose interest and get mad. So they give him a 2-minute rundown video of blowing up so that then he can go, look how great everything is going. Everybody loves me. Can't you see I'm destroying and killing a bunch of innocent folks? Why don't people still like me? It must be the news media. What they keep doing is destroying my legacy. I can't believe they would do this. Here's an expose from Ken Klippenstein, who gets all kinds of tips and leaks about reality of things that we're not seeing versus what it is that's actually happening. From Ken Klippenstein, the Pentagon has quietly dictated to spy satellite companies about what to say about the Iran war, exercising censorship over what the American public is allowed to know. Is this a fascist country yet? Military sources tell me, this is Ken Klippenstein, that the level of secrecy surrounding the specifics of the Iran war is unprecedented, with barely any data being released about the level of bombing, the targets being attacked, or the assessed effects. Now the Trump administration is trying to further control what private companies say in a behind-the-scenes effort that has not been previously reported. And the reason it's not been previously reported is because if Americans knew that they were being, their eyes were being shut by all of these companies who oversee what it is that it gets to our eyes and our ears, they might just get a little bit upset. Here's more. As the American and Israeli bombing of Iran commenced on February 28th, the military promptly issued guidance to satellite operators of, quote, what language and terms to avoid when describing damage caused by Iran to American bases in the Middle East. There's a quote from them. Avoid language that implies battle damage assessment or operational conclusions. That's what one of the slides that was produced by U.S. Space Force says. It goes on to warn against using phrases like target destroyed, target eliminated, and structure rendered inoperable. None of those bad terms, none of those negative things about what is that's actually going on, because if people knew, they wouldn't, well, I guess the 5 to 10 of us that still believe him would stop believing him. More. While the Pentagon's guidance to the commercial companies is framed as an advisory, the companies comply because their contracting relationships with the government make them afraid to bite the hand that feeds them. So as a result, private companies are increasingly becoming a controlled and auxiliary little brother to the U.S. intelligence machine. Like, kind of the way, fascist countries are run. So don't forget, there's been many times we've talked about how countries have this like internet shutdown or internet blackout over certain sites, over certain pieces of information, so that the citizens there can believe what the leadership tells them to believe rather than what it is that's actually happening. Therefore, there's no uprisings, there's no anger, there's no people taken to the streets to be like, yo, you're asking for $200 billion more dollars of our money to put into this war that this, this fealty-led Republican Congress will continue to beg to give to you.